The Kingston Cultural Council hosted a guest artist for art students at Silver Lake Regional High School last week. The students got a first-hand look at the way a college professor instructs while expanding their knowledge on figure drawing. We spoke with Mrs. Close before the class to find out what was in store for her students with their special guest.
This guest artist, Mr. Bob Collins, was sponsored by the Kingston Cultural Council, which is provided for by the Mass Cultural Council, which is directly funded by the NEA, or National Endowment for the Arts. This was a guest artist visit by Bob Collins, who is a professor at Montserrat College and a number of colleges in the area. And he worked today with our students on figure drawing. They used pastel to lay out the central form of the figure and then went back with charcoal to look for the negative spaces and put the emphasis of where the body parts were and get the angles right. So the students who did this project today actually ranged from freshmen through seniors. Some of them have been spending only 2 days doing figure drawing with me. And other students are, of course, seniors, so they did figure drawing with me 1 or 2 years. They did figure drawing with the other art teacher for several years, so they're elaborating on their skills. They're learning to see the figure, learning to observe and get things more accurate and get a loose sort of gesture, a feeling for where the body is in place and how to draw more comfortably. I do spend a lot of time reminding kids to line themselves up, really look at what they're observing so that they can translate that from their eye, from their brain through their hand to the paper. Certainly it's a skill that the more you do it, the easier it gets, just like anything else. And some people it comes easier too, but really it's just a matter of practice and practice and practice. So the more gesture drawings they do, the easier that translation gets. Our guest artist had students start by laying out a sort of a mass of where the figure is, sort of loose, and kind of just get a general sense of where the body is, make sure they're placing them on the page and getting the head on, not chopping the ankles off, that sort of thing. Sort of a general mass location composition, and then go back and get into the details of arms and legs and shins. And students definitely appreciated it. I heard this from a number of the students. His first day here, he talked about his education, so they get a little feel for different schools. He talked about the schools that he teaches at. He also talked about his process for his own art making. The images he did with the students were figure drawing, but he's actually an abstract painter, so he sort of walked them through the process of an abstract painting, which was really interesting for them to hear. Also, it's good for them to get a perspective outside myself or Mrs. Napolitano, and it's great for us too. It's almost like professional development built into the day, and so it's a reminder or re-education for us, and it's fresh eyes for them, or fresh vocabulary to convey a new way of seeing, or reminding them to consider something differently.